here. I'm cold and I'm tired. I just finished a 7-kilometer run, which is approximately about 4 miles. 4 miles is not like the longest I've ever run in my life, but I'll tell you forever and ever, till the day I'm no longer here, that I am not a runner. I just play one on TV. But what had happened was, after I did my fitness competition in Washington, D.C. a few weeks ago, what tends to happen when you do things like that you really feel proud of yourself for, you get really ambitious. And I got really ambitious, and I signed up for I believe it was 4 races. This is the second of 4. I have 2 more upcoming. I have one next week, and then I have one in May. So I was just really excited, and I was like, hey, I'm back on my fitness grind. I can do anything. Hi, Marshall and Nash. So yeah, I signed up for those things. But the interesting thing is, you feel so hype on the day of the race. So you're like, oh, I want to do 10 races. And then when the actual notification comes in your email that you have something that weekend, you're like, oh shoot. After race day, I was lazy and I just rested, and I just haven't really been putting in the work like that. Yeah, but long story short, it doesn't matter. I completed it. I didn't quite get the time I wanted to get. It was rainy and it was cold. The race actually finished an hour ago. I waited in line, which I regret. I waited in line afterwards for a stretch because they were giving free stretches. Ironically, my old job was the one putting on the stretches, which I didn't like, but I mean, it's not like those particular people were the ones that I was working for. They were just under the same umbrella. Hi, Goku. So there was one part of this race. Oh, there's a few things I was going to say, but I'm going to start with this one. There was one part of this race that I really loved. When I run, I usually come to these things by myself 90% of the time, and this was no different. I was out here by myself, and there was this guy that was running with his son. Him and his son were running, and we were probably like a minute away from the finish line, and he's trying to push his son. His son is like, I want to say his son is probably like 7, 8 years old. And most people who are that age, most kids who are that age, oh, people are getting tickets out here. Shoot. Wow. Sorry, y'all. I'm just fascinated. People are getting tickets. Man. Yeah, but anyways, most people who are like 7, 8 years old, they don't have the conditioning. And what I mean by that is that like a kid can run all day, obviously. They have way more stamina than we do, but they don't have usually like breath control, and they don't know anything about pacing. That's unless it happens to be a kid that is groomed and trained from when they're little. But for the most part, if you've ever run in any races, the kids will sprint out really fast, and then they're really tired, and then they'll speed up again once they catch their breath. So this guy was running with his dad, who looked to be a runner. So they got really close to the finish line, and the kid said to his dad, he was like, "Dad, can I walk for like 5 seconds, 10 seconds?" He's like, "I'm so tired." And the finish line was right there. And then his dad was like, "No, son." He's like, "We already went this far. We're 90% of the way there." And he said, "We don't rest when we're almost there. We rest when we cross the finish line." And it just like choked me up a little bit, because it reminded me of, my dad never ran a race with me or anything, but that's, as y'all know, that's something that he said to me very often. Like, there's no almost prize, there's no almost award. So I actually went over to that guy when we crossed the finish line, because we crossed about the same time, and I was like, "Man, you're teaching your son well. Keep it up." That's what I told him. Because honestly, the kids don't realize that when they're kids. Like, I didn't realize that when I was a kid. I just thought, man, why is my dad so tough on me? My dad was tough on me because he knew that no matter how tough he could ever be on me, the world was going to be tougher. Because unlike the world is not trying to make me succeed. They don't care whether I succeed or whether I fail. Bye, Summer. They're not concerned whether I succeed or fail. They don't care whether I finish the race or whether I don't finish the race. But he did. And that's what I was thinking of with that kid when I was looking at that kid with his dad. The kid might have felt like, man, why is my dad being so harsh on me? What difference does it make if we cross the line in 46 minutes and 30 seconds or 47 minutes and 10 seconds? Like, what's the difference? 30, 40 seconds, we're right there. I could just rest myself a little bit and then, comfortably cross the finish line. It's not about that. It's about mentally conditioning yourself. Yeah, please hit the like and subscribe. Like and hit the subscribe button. Thank you. It's about mentally conditioning yourself to see things through to the very end. Not at the almost end. Not right before. Not, I've done so much already, so I'm proud of myself, but I'm completely finished. Then he was like, "I'm going to take you out and we're going to eat some, celebrate your accomplishment." So that touched me. It really did. When I'm running, especially when I'm running in these races, I don't pay attention to anything or anybody, because I'm like, the only thing I'm trying to do is get my legs and my body across that finish line. But I just happened to catch that little piece at the end, and I was so glad that I did. Now, the original thing that I was going to say had nothing to do with that. I've been fighting with myself for the past 2 years, I guess you could say, to get myself back on track physically and mentally, but physically is the main thing that I'm talking about now. And it's because I fight through, I don't want to call them depressive episodes, because it's not really an episode, it's just a tough time in my life. I've been trying really hard to fight through a tough time in my life that has been going on 2 years and counting. And it feels like every time I make some progress towards one thing, now something else happens. All right, now I got to the top of this one mountain. I figured that out. And then all of a sudden, there's an earthquake. And then after the earthquake, I get through that. And then there's a hurricane. And then there's a tornado. And it just feels like I can't get back to that place that I remember being in 2023, 2022. I was in a really good place for a couple of years. And it felt like a too good to be true time period, because I'm like, everything that I'm doing seems to be going well. Obviously, there's, life things always, but generally, everything that I'm doing seems to be going well for myself. And then I went down like a downhill slope where everything has not been going well. But there's a point of me saying all of that. I'm saying all of that to say, you can't win a race that you quit. I'll say it again. You cannot win a race that you quit, right? So I go and I do these races all the time. I finished this race in like 45, 46 minutes. My goal was to hopefully finish in about 39 minutes. I was 6-7 minutes over the time I wanted to do it in. Well, you know what happens? I can sign up for another one. I'm not going to sign up for another one right now, but in theory, I can sign up in another one, and I will eventually sign up for another one. Maybe next time my time is 43 minutes. And then maybe I sign up again for another one, and then my time is 41 minutes. Then I sign up again, my time is 39 minutes. Maybe it doesn't even go like that. Maybe after this 45 minutes, 46 minutes that I just did, I sign up for the next race, expecting that I'm going to be faster than the last one, and I finish a couple minutes slower than that one. And then maybe the next race I finish a little bit slower. And then maybe the following one, I'm 10 minutes faster, I'm 12 minutes faster. The point is, as long as I'm in the race, I always have a chance to win. Secondly, winning is different things to different people. It's nighttime where? It's not nighttime here. Did I miss something? Winning is different things to different people. Hi, Cass. Hi, Ma. And I learned that when I got out of high school. because when I was in high school, if you saw my trophy case, I mean, I didn't have a trophy case. It wasn't a car wash. It was a tunnel. And it's not a wash. It's raining. Cash wash. It's raining. Anyways, if you saw all the medals and trophies and stuff that I had in like high school and elementary school for sports, I basically won everything. I mean, I won a lot of things. I'm not going to say everything, but I won a lot of things, and I was top 3 in most things. When I finished high school and I became an adult, and especially when I started doing running, first place is not a thing for me anymore. Like, I get out there, the people that are finishing in first place are literally finishing these races in half the time that I was finishing them in. And when I first started doing them, I somehow had it in my mind that, oh, that's okay that I finished in 45 minutes and the winner finished in 20 minutes, because they've been running for a lot longer than me. So I'm going to keep running. I'm going to keep getting faster. And eventually I'm going to be in first place. I think I had that notion in my head for about a year, probably. For a whole year, I was delusional enough to think that eventually I was going to be first place in somebody's race. I might be first place in a race among the average 10 friends. If I challenge like 10 friends in my age group to a race, I'd probably beat them. But if I go against 200 athletes, I might beat 30, 40 of them, maybe. But I'm still going to be in the bottom 25% is my point. But that's why I had to get it in my head that winning is different things for different people. For some of these people, running is life. So they're actually running to participate in like the New York City Marathon, the Boston Marathon. Some of them have sponsorships. Some of them have money tied to this. I don't. I just throw these on my schedule to challenge myself, to push myself beyond my capacity, and to just be a better version of myself than I was when I started. And if I did that, if I pushed myself to the best that I could that day, I crossed the starting line and I crossed the finish line, I won the race. Setting goals, obviously, is something that is important. And it's nice when you when you reach your goals and you reach your personal records and everything. But as my running app says, my running coach says on my running app, shout out to Nike Run Club, the coach says something to the effect of, you're always going to be a better version of yourself than when you started. When you cross the finish line, you're always going to be a better version of yourself than when you started. And that's always my goal. And I always achieve that goal. And that, to me, applies to anything that you do in life. You start something that's really challenging. You set a goal, like, this is what I want to accomplish. This is how much I want to accomplish. You know, maybe you say, I want to write that book in 1 year. 1 year comes, you're not even close to being done. 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Maybe you get that book written in year 10. And you might be tempted to say, I'm 9 years late. The other side of the coin, the other way to look at it is, not everybody writes a book. You got it done. You didn't almost finish. You didn't stop right before you crossed the finish line. You decided that you were going to do it and you were going to finish it no matter what, and you didn't give up. And I think that's what it is. Not giving up. That's what makes you the winner. What in the world? Poop. You can find that somewhere else, maybe. There's channels for everything. I wonder how much 1.8k seconds is. I beat myself up over not finishing. I added the up because I beat myself sometimes goes crazy over not finishing things within a certain time frame. Oh, 30 minutes. I do too, but I'm getting out of that. The traffic is so bad that I have time to cut my nails in the traffic. I don't even know why the traffic is so crazy like this. It's Saturday. It's Saturday and it's raining. Maybe an accident. What y'all got going on for Saturday? I don't know what the rest of my Saturday consists of. I know that I have things that I want to do. I don't know how many of those things I'm going to do. Oh, the other thing is, at the end of the race, they had a barbecue outside, but the line, I probably would have had to stand in that line for about an hour. No joke. 1 hour in 39-degree rainy and windy weather. I couldn't believe that many people were standing in line just to get some barbecue chicken. I don't care how good that chicken was, man. Like, it looked good, but I'm not standing outside for an hour to get myself some barbecue chicken after a race. Like, that's wild. That is wild. I don't like barbecue. I like barbecue. I haven't had barbecue in a while, but that used to be my thing in the summer, back when I had a grill. I loved cooking me some steak. But that was years ago. My company has a barbecue July, I think. I'm debating though, because I went to their bowling event and I think that I'm not going to go to this next thing. Beans at a cookout? Your black card is revoked. I don't even be saying that, but I felt like this time was an appropriate time to say that. Beans at a cookout? Beans? Like beans? You didn't eat hot dogs, burgers. Come on now. What's the point of going to a barbecue and eating beans? You're like, I just want socialization and air. Socialization and fresh air. Oh man, I can't. My sister is vegetarian. So that's what she would do at a barbecue. Not beans though. I mean, she'd probably eat the beans, but probably get some pasta, some macaroni salad, mashed potato, not mashed potatoes. Yeah, I guess sometimes they got mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes. I don't know. I can't really think of the vegetarian stuff that they have at barbecues. Is Brock's short for broccoli? It is embarrassing. If your bestie says it's embarrassing, you know it's really embarrassing, for real. Eating beans at the cookout. Oh man, I can't wait to get to the cookout to have these beans. I've been waiting for these beans all day. Yeah, not everybody can make potato salad. And also, some styles that people use to make potato salad, I don't like. Sometimes people make like dill potato salad. I don't like that. Sometimes they're too like the texture. Sometimes I don't like the texture. That's what I was gonna say. I eat chili dogs. Yeah, Mark and I. Yeah, that's rare. I eat the chili dog with the max and cheeses. I promise me and Ma ain't bullying you, Cass. We just happen to agree. Yeah, I don't like watery. Oh, are you talking the chili dog? Yeah, the chili dog with the mac and cheese. The chili dog with the mac and cheese, as in you're having the chili dog and the mac and cheese on the side, or are you pulling a Cam and just mixing stuff? Cam would post a picture of like a chili dog with ketchup and mustard on top of it, with mayonnaise and relish, and he'd be like, "What? Y'all don't like my food? Y'all just hating on my cooking skills." Can be posting the diarrhea specials. My stomach can't handle the stuff that is on those plates that he puts up. Is like 2 seconds after it touches my stomach, I would be running to the bathroom. Honestly, I don't do weird mixtures and combinations of stuff. Like, even at a barbecue, I used to be somebody who was like, oh, I want to put everything on my plate. I want the chicken, I want the steak, and I want the mac salad, and then I want the potato salad, and then I want the this and the that. And then I'm like, once I have 3, 4, 5 different combinations of stuff, my stomach is messed up. So I will pick 2 or 3 things. Okay, I like these things. And did what person go to high school with me? What high school did you go to? That's the question. What high school did you go to? Then I can give you an answer to that. I doubt it. Yeah, that actually just answered the question, because my high school didn't even have a track team. So we were not in track together. We were indeed not in track together because I wasn't on a track team. Mystery solved. That was a good one, though. That was a good try. I mean, you shouldn't have put a detail in there. You should have just been like, oh yeah, you know, we were in a band together. My high school did not have a track team. That's funny. And that's a new one. Yeah, that's what you should have said. You should have said we were third chair saxophone together, but that wouldn't have helped either, because there was only 4 of us, we were in a track together in music slash band class. Ma already said that. Okay, throw your name in there and what high school you went to. How about that? That's the only way. What high school did you go to? And what is your name? How about that? Because I'm not seeing you answer those questions. You just kind of regurgitated what everyone else was saying. But that still doesn't change the fact that my high school didn't have a track team. So it didn't have one. Like, it's not even that I wasn't on it. Brandon what? Brandon Small. I know several Brandons. And school. What was the school? What was the school, Brandon? I'm done asking questions. I don't even know why I'm still asking questions when dude said he was on the track team with me. Like that was the dead giveaway. We didn't have a track team, and I've never been on a track team in my life. I do know a couple of Brandons, but my school didn't have a track team. You still haven't said the name of the school. That's the only thing I want to know. The name of the school that you went to. That's what I want to know. What is the name of the school that you went to? Can you tell me that? You always make me nervous whenever you're driving live. Hi, Bev. It's afternoon. I guess it is 12:20. Yeah, no answer, of course. There is no answer to that question because on the track, we didn't even have a track. That's a funny. My high school didn't even have a track. There was the only running team was like the cross country running team, and cross country is like running outside on the pavement and through a trail, but we didn't even have an actual track in my high school. Yeah, we didn't have it. The only teams that we had in high school was I was on the basketball team. That's the only team I ever played on in high school. Basketball team. I played on the basketball team in my freshman year and my junior year. Other than that, I played intramural sports, but yeah, there was no. I went to like I went to 2 different high schools, actually. They're both like really small private schools. So we didn't have teams like that. But since this person went to my high school, my 20-year high school reunion is this year. So maybe I'll see Brandon over there. Although there was no Brandon in my class. The Brandons that I knew were not in my class. So that was a funny troll though, because it occupied 10 minutes or so of my time. I don't usually read them, so kudos to you. I got so many things to do today, and I don't feel like doing any of them. Oh, that reminded me of the Lazy song. Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone. So leave a message at the tone. with an A for getting in the pool and getting across the pool in a life jacket. Nobody called me Mark with a K. I'm getting close to timing you up. You know what? Here's the deal. You have 1 minute. I'm looking at the you have 1 minute to type the school in here. Otherwise you're getting a timeout. Starting and in 3 seconds. That's how I'm doing right now. Because now it's getting annoying. I have a celebration of life and a death on the same day. I'm sorry to hear that, Bev. Wow. A funeral and a birth. Yeah, 20 seconds now. Yeah, we have 20 seconds now. Alright. Time out. Andy Mindy. Funeral. My phone is not on mute, by the way. Phone was never on mute. It's like all the originals. I mean, all the people who are on here on a regular basis are the ones that are not like, don't worry, guys. His phone just is faulty sometimes. They're like, oh, he's on mute. There were kids literally on the swim team, also in that class. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing with like that. Gym classes. Like, my sister got a B or a C, I think. A B or a C in gym. And I'm like, that's the only class that I would never get anything less than an A. Like, how do you get a B or a C in the participation class? And the thing is, my sister was salutatorian in high school. So like, so that gym class impacted her GPA. This is what I just did. It's called the New York Mets, the 7K line. The 7K line, 7K. That's my race bib. She went to the same school as me. Well, she went to one of the same schools as me. I didn't graduate from that school. I only did 2 years there. She graduated from there. My family moved when I was a sophomore. This is my medal. I don't know what to do with my medals anymore. I have so many of them. I mean, these are honestly participation medals, to tell you the truth, but it doesn't make me enjoy them any less, because how many people in the world participate in these things when they don't have to? Most people stop when they finish school. I stopped participating on a regular basis because I was anxious, and my only friend in that class switched out. The word tired doesn't even begin to describe how I feel right now. And the cold weather and the rain did not help. Okay, y'all. Thanks for joining me. And I am heading off now. My favorite days. We had a gym. We had like a nice gym in my school. And me and my friends would always go in there and lift weights. That was fun. The cardio part, I never did cardio in a gym because we did so much sports. So I got all my cardio from all the sports that we did. Basketball, football, baseball, soccer, hockey. That's where I got all my cardio. I never had to think about cardio back then because I was constantly running and doing sports. But the weightlifting part, I used to love the weightlifting because we would go in there typically on the weekends more so than the weekdays because we all had jobs in high school. I had a job in high school. So I went to school from like 8 to 3. And then I worked from like 3 to 6. And then I would go back to the dorm, do my homework and stuff. And then we had curfew and this and that. And then it was just really weekends that we had the time to like go to the rec gym that had the weights and everything in there. So we would work out on the, we would lift weights on the weekends mainly. And during the week was just like running around playing sports, which I miss. Now I'm doing something that I don't like, such as running to get my cardio in. And before I could just, my cardio was just a given. I was going to get 20,000, 30,000 steps. Even though I didn't have a watch, if I had one, it would probably tell me that I was doing 20 to 30,000 steps on an average day at that time period in my life. So now I gotta force and push myself to be able to get my runs in. Okay, y'all. Oh, I'm gonna be putting this shit up again. Well, I don't think I have it on my. I don't think I have it on my. What's it called? Teespring as of yet, but every storm has a purpose, but so do I. I designed this shirt. I created this. I've sold a few, not on Teespring, but I sold a few in offline. But I'm gonna put it on Teespring at some point. You can get one of these. People liked this. People were complimenting this today, and it was like perfect timing to wear it because it was storming. Like it was raining while we were running. And then everyone always asks what this is. Casa Crew 910. This is when I was in college. And it was funny because people always used to ask me, oh, why don't you join one of the clubs? Why don't you join one of the clubs? And I was never a join a clubber because I never cared to join any of the clubs. But then I saw somebody walking around with this shirt, with this sweatshirt. And I was like, how do I get a sweatshirt? They were like, oh, you get this when you sign up with the Korean Association. And I was like, well, what do I have to do in the Korean Association? And then they're like, attend the meetings, do whatever, whatever. And I was like, but do I get the sweatshirt as soon as I sign up? They're like, yeah. So I went, I signed up for the Korean Association. I went to like one meeting, and I would never be able to tell you what they did, but I would always tell you. But I walked around campus and I was like, I'm part of the Korean Association just because I wanted this sweatshirt. And I've literally have had this since 2009. That's crazy. I've had this shirt for 16 years. There's some things I've had longer than that, a couple of them, but I've had this particular one for 16 years. I had a lot of Korean friends actually. I had one of my really close Korean friends. His name was Jay. I had to see if I could get in contact with that guy because Jay was my guy. I remember Jay used to drive around campus in his Mustang. He had like a Mustang, he had a Porsche. Oh, he would. That's another story for another day. Oh, look at me leaving my medal in the car. It's okay. I don't know what to do with these medals anymore. Woo! I am so cold at this point. All right, everyone. Now I'm heading off for real. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notified when I drop some more great content. Thank you all and have a great day.